I want to start with a simple question, and I'd like you to answer it honestly in your own head. When was the last time anyone, your bank, your insurance company, your county, the Social Security office actually called you up to tell you that you were paying for something you didn't have to pay for? I'll save you the suspense. For almost everyone watching, the answer is never. And that one fact is the entire reason this video exists. Because here is the quiet truth about money after 65. The system does not hand you a refund just because you qualify for one. It does not enroll you automatically. It does not send a friendly reminder in the mail. It waits. It waits patiently and silently while the same charges come out of your account month after month, year after year, and it assumes that if you never raise your hand, you must be fine with it. Most people are not fine with it. Most people simply never knew there was a hand to raise. So stay with me, because over the next several minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 specific bills, real, recurring, ordinary bills that millions of retired Americans pay every single month that a large number of those people are not legally required to pay at all. I'm not talking about pocket change. I'm not talking about saving $1 on dish soap. I'm talking about the kind of money that, over a single year, can add up to a vacation, a new roof, a cushion you can actually sleep on at night. I dug through the current Medicare rules, the federal assistance programs, and what's changed heading into 2026, and I pulled out the 5 that quietly drain the most money from seniors who never realized there was another option. I'll tell you what each one is, who actually qualifies, roughly what the numbers look like, and the single step you'd take to deal with it. And I'm saving the 5th one for last on purpose, because if you own your home, it may be worth more than the other 4 combined, and almost nobody brings it up. Quick thing before we dive in. If this is the kind of plain-spoken money information you wish someone had told you years ago, do me a favor and subscribe, then switch on notifications. The rules tied to Medicare, Social Security, and senior benefits don't sit still, income cutoffs move, fresh programs appear, old ones get reshaped, and filing windows quietly open and close. My whole job here is to translate that maze into something you can actually use before the deadline passes instead of after. Folks who follow along tend to catch these things in time. Folks who don't usually hear about them once it's too late. All right, let's get into it. Number 1, that monthly Medicare Part B premium. For most people, it's around $200 and change every month, and it disappears straight out of your Social Security deposit before the money ever lands in your account. Because you never physically write a check for it, it becomes invisible. It's just the way it is. You see a slightly smaller number show up on the 3rd of the month, and you move on with your life. But here's what a huge share of seniors have never been told. There is a set of programs, they're called Medicare Savings Programs, and they're run through your state whose entire purpose is to pay that premium for you, not knock a little off it, pay it. The full amount, every month, handled on your behalf, so it stops coming out of your check. There are a few different versions depending on your income. The most generous tier doesn't stop at the premium. It can also pick up the deductibles, the copays, and the co-insurance that Medicare would normally leave on your shoulders. For people who land in that top tier, a doctor's visit or a hospital bill that used to come with an anxious "what do I owe" moment can simply not. As a rough guide, a single person bringing in somewhere under roughly $1,300 or $1,400 a month, or a married couple under roughly $1,800, is in strong territory for the most complete version. If you earn a bit more than that, there are 2 additional tiers that may still wipe out that Part B premium entirely, even if they don't cover everything else. Now, why doesn't this just happen for the people who qualify? One reason, and it's frustratingly simple: you have to ask. There's no automatic switch. Nobody at the county is reviewing your income and flipping it on for you. The application sits there until you go find it. To get moving, you'd contact Medicare directly, or look up your state's Medicaid office, because that's who actually administers these programs at the local level. One application. That's the whole barrier between you and roughly $2,400 a year back in your pocket. Number 2, what you're paying at the pharmacy counter. A lot of folks hear, "I've got a Part D drug plan and mentally file prescriptions under taken care of." But covered and affordable are not the same thing, and the gap between them is where a lot of money quietly leaks out. People on a drug plan with no extra assistance can still be handing over $50, $80, even well over $100 a month for a single medication, and if you're managing 2 or 3 chronic conditions, you already know how fast that stacks up. Here's the part that changes the math entirely. There's a federal program built specifically to handle this, sometimes called Extra Help, and sometimes called the Low-Income Subsidy. For the people who qualify, the whole picture flips. The monthly premium on a basic drug plan can drop to nothing. The yearly deductible can vanish. And instead of staring at a frightening total at the register, your share of a covered prescription gets capped at just a few dollars for a generic and a modest single-digit figure for most brand-name drugs. There's a ceiling, and it's low. The income line for this lands somewhere around the low 20,000s per year for a single person heading into 2026. Call it roughly $2,000 a month, and a higher figure for couples. And here's a shortcut almost nobody mentions. If you already got approved for one of those Medicare savings programs I just described in point 1, you typically get folded into extra help automatically. No second application, no second waiting room, it simply switches on. If you haven't applied for either yet, the place to start for this one is Social Security, either through their website or by phone, since they handle the extra help piece. Take a breath here, because I know that's 2 programs already and the acronyms can blur together. So let me make it plain. Point 1 tackles your premium, point 2 tackles your medicine. 2 separate doors, and walking through the first often opens the second for free. Now, let's keep going, because the next one hits a bill that's been climbing fast. Number 3, your heating and cooling costs. Energy has been brutal lately. And if you're on a fixed income, you don't need me to quote you a statistic. You've felt it in your gut every time the bill arrives. Heating costs have pushed up meaningfully over the past year, and electricity in a lot of regions has climbed even faster. When your income is essentially flat and one of your largest household bills keeps creeping upward, that's not an inconvenience. That's a slow squeeze on everything else in your budget. What a lot of seniors have never heard of is a federal program designed for exactly this pressure. It helps cover home energy costs. And the key detail, the part that makes it different from a coupon or a vague discount, is that the assistance can be paid straight to your gas or electric company on your behalf. It shows up as a real credit against what you owe, not a rebate you have to chase. Income limits vary from state to state, but a single person bringing in somewhere in the low 20,000s a year or less has a genuine shot at qualifying in many places. And here's something that matters specifically for you if you're 60 or older. In a lot of states, seniors get to apply early, sometimes a full month before everyone else. That head start is not a small thing, because this kind of assistance often runs on a first-come basis. There's a pot of money each season, and when it's gone until the next cycle resets. Getting in line early can be the difference between getting help and hearing, "Sorry, we're out." There's usually a companion program too, one focused on weatherizing your home. Instead of just helping with this month's bill, it sends people out to seal drafts, add insulation, and fix or upgrade aging heating equipment, all aimed at permanently lowering what your home costs to keep comfortable. So you get relief now and a smaller bill going forward. The simplest way to find the right local office for both is to dial 211. It's a free national line for social services, and they can point you straight to where you'd apply. Number 4, a Medicare charge most people have never even heard the name of. This one is sneaky, and it tends to hit the people who did everything right. If your income in a past year landed above a certain threshold, somewhere around 6 figures for a single filer, Medicare doesn't bill you the standard Part B amount. It tacks on an extra surcharge, and depending on your income, that add-on can run from a few $100s a month on up. Like the regular premium, it's pulled quietly from your Social Security, so a lot of people just notice a smaller deposit and assume that's simply their lot. Now here's the genuinely unfair wrinkle, and why I want retirees especially to pay attention. The surcharge is based on a tax return from 2 years back. Sit with that for a second. The government is looking at what you earned 2 years ago to decide what you can afford today. So picture this. You retired last year, or you sold a property, or you did a one-time conversion on a retirement account. Any of those can create a single big spike on an old return income you no longer have and will never see again. And yet you could be paying a steep monthly surcharge right now as if that spike were your normal life. And this is the part that almost nobody acts on. You can dispute it. There's a specific form built for exactly this situation for people who've gone through a major life change, like retiring, losing income, losing a spouse, or cutting back their work hours. You fill it out, you document what your income actually looks like now rather than 2 years ago, and the surcharge can be reduced or removed completely. This isn't a loophole or a gray area. It's a process the system put there on purpose for people in changed circumstances. Folks have gotten hundreds of dollars a month corrected by doing this one thing. You can download that form from the Social Security website or pick it up at a local office, and it's worth asking about the moment your real income no longer matches that old return. And number 5, the one I told you to wait for, property taxes. If you own your home and you're 65 or older, I want you to think back to whether your county ever sent you a clear letter laying out your rights as a senior homeowner. For the overwhelming majority of people watching, that letter never arrived. And yet nearly every state in the country offers something for older homeowners, call them senior exemptions, assessment freezes, or relief credits. The names differ, but the effect is similar. They can lower the taxable value of your home, lock your bill so it can't keep climbing as values rise around you, or knock out a meaningful chunk of what you owe outright. We are not talking about loose change here. Depending on where you live and the value of your home, this can mean anywhere from a couple $100s to several $1,000s saved every single year for as long as you own and live in that house. Think about what that compounds to over a retirement that might span 20 or 30 years. This is very likely why I told you to hang on for number 5. And by now, you can probably guess the catch, because it's the same thread running through everything we've covered today. You have to claim it. The county assessor is not going to mail you a congratulations note the year you turn 65. The exemption sits on the books, fully available, and completely inactive until you raise your hand. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Look up your county along with the phrase senior property tax exemption, or just call the assessor's office directly and ask, in plain words, what programs exist for older homeowners in your area? One phone call. And unlike a coupon that expires, this kind of savings can follow you year after year after year. So let's pull all 5 together because I want this to actually stick. 1. That Medicare Part B premium coming out of your check, which the right state savings program can cover entirely. 2. Your prescription costs, which extra help can shrink down to just a few dollars a fill. 3. Your heating and cooling, where federal energy assistance can pay your utility company directly and seniors often get to apply first. 4. That hidden Medicare surcharge built on 2-year-old income, which the right form can reduce or erase once your situation has changed. And 5. Your property taxes, where senior relief exists in nearly every corner of the country and only ever kicks in when you apply. Notice the pattern, because it's the real lesson underneath all 5. Not one of these programs comes looking for you. They don't knock, they don't call. They sit there, fully funded and fully available, waiting for one ordinary person to fill out one form or make one phone call. That single step, that's the entire distance between you and money that was meant for you all along. It is rarely about whether you qualify. It's almost always about whether anyone ever told you to ask. So here's what I'd love for you to actually do this week, not someday. Pick just one of these 5, the easiest one, the one that made you sit up a little. Make that single call or start that single application, then come back next week and do the next one. You don't have to fix everything at once. You just have to start because momentum on this stuff is real and the savings stack on top of each other faster than you'd think. And if any part of this opened your eyes today, please subscribe so the next round of changes finds you in time, and more importantly, send this to one person you care about who's on Medicare or Social Security. A parent, a neighbor, the friend who never complains but you know is stretched thin. A 5-minute conversation could quietly change someone's finances for years. I'll meet you in the next one. Take care of yourself and go make that call.